What's going on, moviegoers? If you're new to the channel, my name is Christian. Welcome to Cerebral Productions. We got some interesting news revolving around the reboot of the Exorcist film. Now, the original 1973 Exorcist is an all-time masterpiece of cinema, horror cinema that is. And I know I was very harsh when I recently did a video on how I thought it was a bad idea and how Hollywood is lazy, how there's no original ideas anymore. But with this new piece of information coming our way to the fans, it could switch up some things for me because I was very skeptical. I legit was like, this is a bad idea. We shouldn't go down this road. No, we shouldn't. But then with the recent news that dropped today stating that David Gordon Green is in talks to direct this reboot, I might have to reel back in my thoughts. Now, we all know David Gordon Green, right? He directed Halloween 2018. He's directing Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. He has literally given that franchise rebirth. And he's done a phenomenal job with Halloween 2018. Cannot wait to see Halloween Kills, but we got to wait all the way until next October. It was delayed. Halloween Ends probably won't drop until 2022. Which is a huge bummer, but I understand it. Unless, you know, who knows what might happen next year. We don't know. We could possibly get both films back to back because of this whole pandemic that we're in. What if theaters aren't openings? You know, there's so many things that could happen that we don't know about. So I'm still so hyped for what he's done and what he's created over there at Blumhouse and really revamping the whole Halloween franchise because it desperately needed that. After the whole Halloween with Rob Zombie, it just seems like Michael Myers was out the door. You know what I mean? And I love the fact that it was a direct sequel after the 1978 film Halloween. I thought it was such a unique, refresh idea to do something like that instead of doing a whole reboot of that franchise. Brilliant idea. They had a bunch of returning actors come back. Obviously, Jamie Lee Curtis. Fantastic stuff. And you have Halloween Kills doing the same thing and Halloween Ends. But David Gordon Green is a fantastic visionary. He's a fantastic director and a fantastic character building, storytelling director. So when I found out today that he was in talks to direct this new Exorcist film, I was like, okay, well, you have my interest now. Now I'm interested in the idea of something like this. Because when you have a passionate filmmaker who understands what the original had and brought to the table, I feel like we're in good hands in what he can do with this up-and-coming reboot. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, just because he's directing this film, it's going to be better than the original film, because that's not the case. We don't know. We don't know what the story is going to be. We don't know who's going to be casted in this movie. We just don't know. And another thing I like, it's being done by Blumhouse as well. Blumhouse is also producing this film, and Blumhouse legit has been like the juggernaut for horror films over like the last 4 to 5 years. They've done a fantastic job. So that also puts me at ease as well. You have David Gordon Green, who's in talks to direct this film, and you have Blumhouse Studios, who's also producing the movie. But let me read you guys some of this article from The Hollywood Reporter. Let me dive deep into this because this is going to be interesting stuff. Very interesting. Halloween filmmaker David Gordon Green is ready to take on another horror classic. Green is in talks to direct a sequel to The Exorcist for Blumhouse and Morgan Creek production. Now, that is interesting. So it's a sequel to the original 1973 film. I thought it was a reboot. So this isn't a reboot. It's a sequel to that film. Now this makes a lot of sense. David Gordon Green just did a sequel to the 1978 film Halloween. And now, you know, he's hot. He's hot right now. Now Blumhouse is like, well, what are you doing after Halloween Ends? Can you tackle the Exorcist sequel? That makes a lot of sense. Okay. William Friedkin directed the original Exorcist, which became a sensation in 1973 and went on to earn $193 million globally, making it the highest grossing R-rated horror movie of all time until it was dethroned by 2017's It. The film told the tale of a 12-year-old girl possessed by a mysterious entity, and the lengths of her mother and 2 Catholic priests go to an attempt to save her. Now, this is interesting. This is very interesting. The new film continues Green's relationship with Blumhouse, where he's helmed 2018's Halloween, which successfully reunited the franchise and earned $255 million on a $10 million budget. Green has 2 sequels on the way in Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Okay. So this isn't a reboot. This isn't. This is a sequel to the first film. Now I'm going to reel back what I initially said about how I thought it was a bad idea. Because if it's a direct sequel, it's a fresh new take on what they can adapt after the first film. Like I said, like he did with Halloween 2018. You get what I'm saying? And it makes all sense in the world that Blumhouse Studios would want somebody like David Gordon Green, who's new on the scene, bars, that's what it is, to come in and helm something like this. And it makes a lot of sense. And I'm on board with it. Like I said, I'm a fan of David Gordon Green's work. I love what he did with the Halloween franchise. Like I said, he re-sparked the flame and Michael Myers is hot again. You know what I mean? And if he's going to take on a sequel to the 1973 film, The Exorcist, then by all means, let's see what this guy can come up with. He respects the original. He's all about the nostalgia. Halloween 2018 has so many nostalgia feelings that it legit took from so many different prior Halloween films before Halloween 2018. And I love that aspect of it. You know, the way Michael Myers walked and things like that. It had that whole feel of Nick Castle in that movie. So he knows his stuff. So this is only going to lead me to believe that, you know, if the talks are finalized, that David Gordon Green can do a wonderful job with helming a sequel to the 1973 Exorcist film. I'm excited about it. This puts me at ease. It really does. And I'm curious to see where we can take the story and we can get some good scares going on, because that film, that original movie, it wasn't scary to me. It was scary to the entire world out there. I can watch The Exorcist alone all day in the dark and not be afraid. It's something about that movie, it doesn't scare me like it scares a lot of people. You know, granted, I don't say it's not a bad movie. It just doesn't scare me. Yeah, there's some creepy moments where she's coming down the stairs or vomit or the head turn around and shit like that. But it doesn't initially scare me. But I'm curious to see how we can add on to it, or, you know, if these talks are, you know, official, because we don't know when he can ignite and start the project, especially if he's still working on Halloween. Halloween Kills should be done. Essentially, Halloween Kills should be done. You know what I mean? I doubt that there's any more work. Halloween Ends, he's probably trying to finish it up. Probably within the next 6 to 8 months, he'll probably try to finish that film. But I don't expect, if he signs on, I don't expect him to start working on this film till maybe the end of, see, that's the thing. Like, if Halloween Ends comes out 2022, like, that's October. So you're telling me that this film won't start until the start of 2023? That's a long time. But hopefully he has some downtime and he can work on, you know, this film and, you know, get this thing popping. It's going to be interesting. But post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about David Gordon Green being in talks to direct the sequel to The Exorcist. Please, thoughts, opinions. What do you guys think about this? Post your comments down below. And thank you for taking time today for our Zero Productions. Peace.
We out.